Yes. Okay,
And
so
I
that...
see that you and I are on air.
Okay, cool. This is where peeps will comment. Okay, so I'll put one up so you can see.
Okay.
Okay, so you can reply back to them there and hashtag their hashtag and at their name, for example. And I'll give you some props. Woohoo! And props just means
thank you.
Props just means that you're doing well. Hopefully we don't have any internet issues because you went a bit fuzzy then, but we'll just work through it. Oh yay! Oh look, yeah, we've got the gorgeous Margaret from Made Marketing, first blab. Oh, blab virgin. Yay! Yay, you get to do it with us.
Me too, Margaret.
How cool. Yahoo. So cool to have you here. So cool to have you here. Yes, you're losing your blab virginity. It'd be actually really cool, Margaret, to have you on as a guest too. If you're open to that, I'll contact you. Did you?
And you never forget your first time, Margaret.
Karen, did you just take out your headphones again?
No,
I could hear myself again. That's all right. We'll keep rolling. So it looks like we've got 19 people on and 4 viewers. We'll just see a few more minutes how it's going to go. But how it's going to roll today is Karen and I are going to, it's like an interview style. So basically I'm going to ask you heaps of questions, babe, and you're just going to keep it real. And I know that you're all about honesty and being authentic, and that's why you and I connect, because we want to cut through a lot of the bullshit and we just want to get in there and be real and honest about it for people. And I really wanted to interview you and have you on the Inspire Hire Blab show because I can't wait for you to see yourself, how so many of us see you. Like, you've got this phenomenal mind. You're so intelligent, it freaks me out, and you have this amazing ability to be a grammar queen and just, change this, move this. And for someone who finds that difficult, the grammar and some of the England, I really appreciate that. But I also appreciate about you your ability to be very analytical and yet very creative. And that is actually really hard combos to find because often we're one or the other. So to be, gifted on both sides, I think is really, really cool. So welcome to the Inspire Hire Blab TV show, co-hosted by the gorgeous, vivacious Lisa Black and the gregarious Natalie Cutler-Welsh, and of course myself, Natalie Toller from Catapult Your Business. We welcome you, Karen, to one of the episodes. And the reason the three of us got together to do this TV show was to inspire you higher wherever you were in your journey. So if your journey was just beginning, we want to do it to keep you inspired, to keep you going. If you're, further along in your journey, we want you to keep expanding. What else can you do? What else? What else? But what else, from the point of view, is that the three of us truly believe, and I know that you believe this too, Karen, is that, and it's so cool about the February theme is about creating impact, is it's not okay just to have a business that just impacts you. It's about how you impacting your family, your local environment, and the world. And I think that's the whole backbone, and I know my girls will agree that that's the whole backbone of Inspire Hire, is we on a very spiritual, expansive level, we want to inspire you higher, that whether you like it or not, your business has a ripple effect, whether you're conscious of that or not. So become conscious of it and actually realize the people you're inspiring, whether you're owning that or your self-worth lets you do that. And for me, that's why I wanted to be part of this Inspire Hire. So, as I said, February's theme was about creating impact. And so I invited you, Karen, to come and join us because I know that that's something that you're really, really... morning, Stephanie Johnson. So cool to have you here. This is a funny thing about Blab. just before you know it, it's totally cool to suddenly go left field and say hi to whoever's jumped in. And so that's why I wanted to interview you, Karen, because I've got to know you really well, and I just, I feel really grateful that you're going to come along and let me go and chew your ear off and ask you lots of questions. So for those of you who don't know me, I'll do a very quick intro, and then it's going to be all about Karen and what we're going to talk about today. So my name's Nat from Catapult Your Business, and I'm all about empowering women in their journey from being employed to becoming an entrepreneur, because let's face it, it's a freaking minefield when you think that all you need is to know how to have a business plan and sell some product, because there's a whole other world out there, and it's the mindset world. And so that's where I love to be able to help women, the strategy and the mindset. And also part of my bigger vision and part of my inspiration is to show women that there is actually no significant difference between you and someone else having success. It's your belief in the fact that you take the action. And so part of my message is, if I can do it, you can do it. And that's fundamentally the only difference. And what you see in someone else and that you kind of are jealous or drawn to means that you have it in you. And so I love that concept. So that's a little bit about me. Enough about me. It's going to introduce the beautiful Karen Newbold. And what I love about the relationship that Karen and I have is I'm like, you're so freaking good at coming up with names and concepts, babe. Here's the theme of what we're talking about. You come up with the name today, you come up with the concept, and we'll riff. And she, within like 5 seconds, was like, okay. And the name of our blab is Impact Starts with I, deciding what works for you and the work you want to do. And I'm like, oh my God, you're genius. You just come up with the coolest stuff. So instead of me telling everyone about you, babe, I'd love for you to just go for it now and start from the beginning about just go. You just go, babe.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for having me on. I am happy to be here at the beginning of this month, because that was why I came up with Impact Starts with I, because I've come to realize that everything that you do does impact on other people, but really it all comes back to you and what you want to do. And I've floated along for a long time. There's been a lot of different things that I've done, starting out with, would you believe it, in the UK, celebrity booking.
Wow.
So I worked at an agency. I don't know that I watched a lot of telly, but I had a very good memory for celebrities and for what was happening, and the sort of general goss, I suppose. Before, it was a long time before E-News. So we would have people ring up, and I would book conference speakers, motivational speakers, Coronation Street people to open supermarkets, all sorts of things. And so that was fascinating, because I was maybe 20, dealing with really big names, big political names, big celebrities, popular celebrities, and you realize that you admire these people, but they are people, and that's a an important lesson to learn, I think.
Yeah, it's so good.
We're all the same deep down. Yeah. So but I was dealing with, at one end of the spectrum, I would be dealing with I don't know, somebody from Coro. And then at the other end, people like Bill Clinton and Henry Kissinger, and it was intimidating, big political names. Yeah. So, and it was great. I loved that work. But it was mostly other people's events that I was slotting things into, and I wanted to have some fun. So I moved into radio and helped to run radio stations, helped to come up with promotional ideas for people.
Is that where you met your husband?
Run lots of events.
Tell us that story, because it's quite funny, isn't it?
It is, yes. Well, radio presenters are known as on-air talent. I would say in Jim's case, you know, the talent bit would be spurious. That's a horrid thing to say. But he was on one side of the equation. He was on air. I was on the other side. So I would go along and sell concepts to customers and come up with ideas, come up with external events and things, and then pop back and tell him what to do, tell him what he was going to be doing out on these events. And I've been telling him what to do ever since. Not much has changed. But he doesn't work for me anymore. No, he's in TV now. And I'm
so you're university qualified. What did you do there?
I went through university late as a mature student, and really the only, you know, I worked perfectly well without a degree. I'd gone into running radio stations, having teams of people underneath me, doing lots of budgeting and so forth. But we'd fallen in love with New Zealand, and we came here on holiday 3 times and wanted to get in. And the only way that we could get in was to go to uni, and to get enough points to qualify, because we didn't have family here. And so I thought I would be indulgent, and I, rather than do a business degree, which would sort of be teaching me what I already knew, I did English lit and creative writing, and found that, and so I did a lot of creative writing in that degree. Obviously, still approached it in a bit of a overachiever type style, as I do, because and I just work part time. So and that was it was, you know, it was indulgent. It was an eye opener. It was a different change of pace. It was a big call to give up a well paid, challenging but really rewarding job. But the pair of us had a goal in mind.
What I'd love to know, because we've only just touched the iceberg of what you've done in terms of jobs. I can hear myself reverberating back again. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Anyway, I'd love to know though, at what stage did you start thinking about that you knew you wanted to do something that was for yourself? So when I say the something, that it was you knew you wanted to work for yourself. Speak to us around that. Like, when did that first inkling come up?
I think I'd always had the inkling, but I had always taken the easy option, being really honest, and had always looked for external validation. And so when you're offered a job, it's great, because you think, well, they want me. Isn't that marvelous? I can work, and you've got a bit of a safety net. But nevertheless, you're not the person calling the shots. And I think it took it. When I first came to New Zealand, I worked for a really large polytechnic. And did all of their events, and absolutely loved that job, and it was a brilliant introduction to New Zealand. I moved on to another job, again in education, and started to feel that although I could do it, it shouldn't be it wasn't really fulfilling me. And as I say, if it begins with me, and it took me a long time to say, right, actually, it's not about pleasing people. It's not about doing something just because you can. It's doing something that you want to do. So yeah, it's probably taken me 25 years to get to that.
So you've never kind of had that childhood dream of you were always going to like run a business and be a millionaire. That wasn't something you've always had. So it's something new that you're like, you know what, I want to go out on my own. I want to do this for myself, for my family, for a different impact.
Well, I think I've always been very self-sufficient, but I've always liked working with other people. And, you know, I think a lot of us, you know, go to a job, stay in the job, possibly move on to another job, and your career sort of progresses in that way. And it either takes something really cataclysmic for you to go, right, okay, this isn't happening. And sometimes with people that's redundancy, or emigration or something along those lines, or it becomes a bit of a sort of slow burn. And I think probably since having children, it became more and more apparent to me that I was making, I was responsible for them. I was making decisions for them, and I should be designing something for me and my family that worked. So rather than continue to slot in, I thought, okay, now's the time to make a move. So you can't ignore that little, the little voice in your head, or the little thing on your shoulder.
I love all the words you pull out. Liz just was like cataclysmic. Like, love that word. That's such a cool word. I really love that you've said that, because I was similar. That's, it was the birth of my first child that I realized that I actually had control of my life, and that it wasn't like, oh, I'm 21 now, I'm an adult. It was like, oh, I'm a mother now. Wow, I actually I actually am the boss of me and of someone else. So I totally get what you mean. I also loved how you talk about, having a job and a career is kind of easy, and you get the external validation. Would it be true that when you go out on your own and you decide to leave that security and you come out into your own business journey, that the need for the external validation and looking for the easiness has been a block to move forward?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, I like to keep it real, and I like to be very honest with people and really open. And so, of course, it's very easy to say, oh, no, things are great, everything's wonderful, but it's not a failing in yourself. And I think you have to realise that things don't happen overnight, that it's very easy to keep tootling along the same path. But it's... Every change has its own set of challenges, and this, starting out for yourself has its own set of challenges. You're not with people the whole time. You don't have that sort of banter in the office. You haven't got a set checklist of things that you need to do. There's always going to be stuff to do. I think the thing that I've found probably most difficult is trying to hone down or concentrate on specific.
Can you talk into that a bit more for actions? Can you talk into that a bit more for us, though? Because I know there will be a lot of people on the call who, there was at one stage there where you had like 5 things that you wanted to do and you were working on, and it was like, whoa. So talk into that specifically for me.
There's a lot going on in this head. So that's probably my biggest problem. So I will come up with ideas a lot, and I can, because I've got a commercial background, and because I I'm good at evaluating what's in it for the customer and looking at what's going to work for people. I can look at my ideas and say, oh wow, that's going to be fabulous. But then you realize it's a complete business in itself. It's a complete direction, and that I had to go back and say, right, what am I doing this for? What are my objectives at the moment? And it does begin with looking after yourself. It begins with not becoming overwhelmed, not thinking, okay, well, I can juggle everything, but just coming back to saying, right, okay, what's the objective now? What do I need to do? How am I going to do
How
that?
did you do that with Ginger Thinking? Because I know that before you came up with the name, and before we kind of before that day, remember I made you create your Facebook page at my house. I'm like, do it.
With the whip.
how did you hone it down? You know, because I totally get, and I know there's people on the call who understand. I call it helicopter bright shiny object brain, where the capacity to create ideas can be overwhelming and actually stop any action, right? And therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Then you think, well, I've actioned nothing. I'm pretty freaking useless. See, I shouldn't have left my job. What have I done? Oh no, here's another idea. And this weird circle starts, right? How did you stop that circle? Well, have you stopped it?
I don't know that I have stopped it. I think it's like a nasty tiger that I have to tame and say back in the box. There's always going to be new ideas, but it's about being disciplined, I suppose, and trying to focus exactly on what's necessary at this time. And also, you know, the validation thing's important because it is about helping people. When it comes down to it, if you're somebody that's, you know, in a service industry, or who's doing this to help women or to help entrepreneurs or to just move things along, and you see the progress that's made there, then the validation comes from helping and people saying, wow, that's brilliant, I've been stuck for however long, we've fixed this straight away. And it's not your light bulb
and
moment,
often when you're with your clients, you actually are learning as you're coaching them, meaning that you know what you're doing beforehand, but you're, like you said, you share their light bulb moments too. Margaret from Made Marketing has asked a great question. What do you do at Ginger Thinking? So tell us about Ginger Thinking, because it's such a cool concept.
Okay, so as I sort of explained, my forte, I suppose, is in idea creation and communications and events. I love going to events. I think that people spark off one another in a live situation, and so that's something that people are either petrified about or they really want to do but they don't know how to. But it all starts with a brand. And branding is, if you're talking about entrepreneurs, branding is as much about you as it is about your graphics and your web page and anything else that you put out there. So the way that I start with people really is to create a brand statement, which is not necessarily a tagline or a marketing ploy, but it helps them to understand exactly what their business is about, and it helps other people to understand. I don't really like the phrase elevator pitch because I think that's very sales focused, and a lot of people who are in business, you know, with the sales being crucial, but not as fundamental as you might think. They're there to help people, and they're there to serve their higher purpose, and to just make an impact in the
Liz
world.
Fry, the elevator pitch is so last year, and so's email, right, Liz? I don't know about you guys, but I do a lot of business now via Facebook messaging as opposed to emails. It's changing so fast. This could be a mean question because I've put you on the spot. What's your brand statement for Ginger Thinking?
Okay, this could.
Oh no, it doesn't come up. No, it doesn't come up backwards.
No, it comes up.
Put it back up. It comes up fine. I work with women to help them shine and their businesses to flourish through developing a strong brand, innovative ideas, creative communications, and effective events. You're hired.
There you go. So my thinking about this is that it should be a maximum of 25 words. It should explain what you do, possibly hint at why you do it, but just should be easy.
Are you a marketer?
Opener.
Do you consider yourself a marketer?
Oh yes. I've worked in sales and marketing for a really long time, and when people put together, you know, as I say, I love events. I love going to events. I sometimes burn out a bit too much because I'm here, there, and everywhere, and say, "Hey, let's go along. This is going to be so much fun." You know, but they've got a purpose, and you know, it's a purpose that you know, when people hold workshops or want to hold an open day or something like that, it needs to be thought through, and it needs to reinforce your brand values, and it needs to give people an opportunity to connect with you and to explore where that connection can go. So that's why I've included events, because I've got such a lot of experience in there. This year I'm going to become a certified festivals and events executive, which is an international qualification that I'm working towards. And yeah, so I'm probably 60% of the way through that program. And you know, not because I'm just focusing on events, but I believe that that's a fabulous way for people to actually connect and to work on their business. And you get two schools. I find you get two lots of people who go, oh, it's really easy, and they just sort of, you know, go through, organize a workshop, and it's a bit mediocre, and it ends up doing probably more harm than good. Or people who are absolutely petrified and don't even know where to start. So we've got you know, there's a process that you can work through there that talks about objectives, that talks about what the delegates are going to get out of it, and what, you know, what their day is going to be like. And if you keep
I'm actually super proud of you, babe, because I know that when we talked last, you know, the events was kind of, you weren't kind of sure how it was going to slot in. So your brand statement, like reading that for me, I was like, I love how you've now put it in to how you're going to, you know, knit it in within your business, because you're so damn good at it. To not have it within your business would have been a shame. And it's also a very cool, unique selling point for you, because it makes you very different from someone else, you know, because you've got that event just expertise, because that's what you did for so long.
Background, yeah, absolutely. But you know, I'm a bit. I've a former colleague and friend who calls me word wizard, because you know, she will come up. You know, she'll say, "Oh, I need this," and that's how I've worked with you as well in the past. Just to say, right, okay, tell me about, and then you can come up with something snappy. And I think it's, you know, some might say cheesy. We can work with that, but it's about getting a hook and making sure that people you grab people's attention, you give them something that might give them a little bit of a laugh, gives your sort of program a focus.
Well, I'm going to give you a bit of kudos, because you helped me name my 6-week challenge Shapeshifters, the Shapeshifter Ravers, and it's been such a great name, and it's such a great name to use back to them, because they are, you know, we're shaping them and they're shifting. So I know I've used you, and what I've loved about being able to use you is instead of me spending the day trying to work out the name and then the concept for it to sit under, I'm like, Karen, so this is what I need, and like, you know, you within hours you're back to me, and I can keep moving through, and I think even that in itself is just such a great service, that I kind of want to put it out there today, that I did kind of pre-warn you I might do this, that if someone, I'm going to open up one of the other seats, and if someone has a new program they want help named, or they're just a little weak, I know that Karen can't do your brand statement on, you know, on a 5-minute blab show, but it would be cool for and you got to pay for that. But it would be cool if you, if you wanted to help with the name of something, an ebook, whatever. Just if you need help with something to name, please chuck it down here in the chat box, and I'll unlock the seat. Yeah, and I'll unlock the seat, and you can come in. I want to go back into some of your pain, because I know that we can, that you can inspire. Possibly someone who's listening who is where you were at last year in your job. We don't have to name the name of your job, whatever. I just would love for you to really talk about when you did transition out, and then after you transitioned out, a lot of the yuckiness that came up, because that's the real stuff, right?
Yeah. I think we're all on a journey. And I've met people at, whilst I was doing my job, I was doing I was looking at self-development courses. I was attending events. I was reading books, because I knew that I needed to do something different. I knew that I wasn't utilizing my talents properly and fulfilling my purpose. So I, but it took a long time to still make that jump. And I think that a lot of it comes down to being diminished in your power. I was doing a job which was very demanding, very time consuming, but I wanted to do the best job that I could. So I was continuing on that sort of hamster wheel, and finally I made the decision that it was not serving me. It was not the best thing for me to do, and left. But it's a huge transition to make. I would stress that to anybody, that it's rather like that losing that security, losing that circle is a big thing in itself. Especially if you're the sort of person who's very driven and needs to then start on something else, because you're not necessarily going to be, however excited you are, you're not going to be at the top of your game, I think, in that instance. So thank you, Run for Your Life. You know what it's like, and it does. It would be very easy to just keep going, keep pedaling, but at some point you need to make that jump and make that commitment. But it's a bit like a pregnancy. You don't suddenly decide to get knocked up and then go, okay, where's the baby? It's a process and it takes time, and it's very exciting to start with, and then you get a bit annoyed by how long it's taking.
And you get a bit uncomfortable, right? But that's a great analogy, because and it can be uncomfortable in what you think, how you think you're going to handle it. It could prove you wrong, because as we've spoken before about the mindset, you've been a genius in your job and you get external validation that you're great in it, and then you walk into your job and all of a sudden you don't know, and I'm talking me, because I know you resonate this. I didn't know that I had self-belief and self-worth issues, and you don't know that until you go on this business journey, right? You're sitting there by yourself, the honeymoon's over, the excitement's gone, and you're like, no one told me that I was going to have these feelings. And you know how to fundamentally run a business, like the foundation, and run it. And it's those mindset, great aunt fear, sister self-sabotage, and you're like, who the fuck are you guys? But what I love about what you did, though, is you were like, excuse me, is this how I'm meant to be feeling? Because I'm not feeling really cool at the moment. And I think that's really amazing about you. And and whether you like it or not, you inspire a lot of people. You inspire me. You inspire me to keep it real, because I know that my realness has helped you step through some of these blocks. So, and why possibly I've got out my whip and whipped you a few times, but you like it.
Not literally. None of that. Yeah. Never say
never. Liz Fry has asked, what's the thing you're most proud of in your life?
Oh, thanks, Liz. This ties in really well, actually, to what we're talking about. I do. I think that I think that this transition that we've been talking about going into business is very much like the other transitions that you have in your life. Into motherhood, or into a new country, or anything like that. And so I've done heaps of things. But I had this idea when I was 42 that I would do 42 new things during the year. And rather that I'd got a baby who was 1. And another child who was 3, and I thought it would be very easy to start seeing myself as a mumsy, middle-aged, set in my ways person that just went to work and came home and did all this and started having a life that was diminishing. So consequently, I thought, right, I'm going to try new things. And so during the year, I did 42 new things, and they pretty much ended up mostly being painful.
You got to tell us some.
Humiliating.
I mean, when I first met you and you told me this, I was like, I've never met anyone who has 42 tattooed on their wrist. Show us. And, you know, and has done something like this. And I was like, you've got to be my friend. We've got to hang out because that's so freaking cool, you know? And yeah.
That was the last thing. So it started with a flotation tank in a rebirthing situation. It ended with a tattoo because I'm, you know, and it was really about challenging those self-limiting beliefs. So, you know, I was never the sort of person that would be tattooed. I was never somebody who would. I mean, I was confident. I'd done a lot of shows and I'd done a lot of public speaking, but there were certain things that I would say I could never do that. I couldn't do it. And so 40, the reason it's 42 is if you've ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42 is the ultimate answer to life, the universe and everything. So that was why it had to be that year. But I realized that, unfortunately, a marathon is 42.2 kilometers. So that had to be one of the things. Wow. And so within that year, I ran my first marathon and 2 other marathons. So I wouldn't say that was the thing that I was proudest of, but I think the thing I'm most proud of, Liz, is my resilience and challenging those self-limiting beliefs. Because I think a lot of people.
But you're so right. Or they're like me and they leave it to challenge their limiting beliefs when they go, I'm going to go run my own business. And that's, you know, hands down, that's not the coolest way to do it. So do you think by challenging yourself for that year that you would, I mean, this is such a dumb question I want to ask. You're not, you know, when you hit the ground running in your business, you know, do you think you would have to have gone through much? Well, you probably wouldn't have left. Do you reckon you would have left?
I think you have to collect evidence, and I know that's something that you always talk about, that successful women have left clues, and you know you look for those and you take strength in them. But I also think you can look for evidence in your own life of things that of times that are difficult and things that have challenged you, and you know it doesn't necessarily hinge on success. It's not about, you know, well, I got through this and it was marvelous and look, it was all a good result in the end. The value is actually really in looking at things that challenged you, that you came through and you moved on from, and it's recognizing strength in yourself rather than validation from others or certificates on the wall or sales figures or anything like that. Although I am partial to a nice.
I was just going to say, I've seen your race walk. That's pretty amazing. So have you got a bucket list then? So you've done 42 things. Like, do you have another list or a bucket list? Like, how do you keep challenging yourself to knock down your barriers?
I don't really like the idea of bucket lists because I don't think any of us know how long we've got. There are lots of reasons not to do things. And you will always find a reason not to do something. But compelling yourself to actually do it and do it using the sort of why not is I think far more powerful. And really, you know, what's the worst that can happen? It could be a bit painful. It could be humiliating. You'll live, you know. I think, I mean, I'm British, obviously. You know, I'm ginger. I'm used to humiliation. I think you know, sometimes the self-deprecating humor is a bad thing, in that you should be actually positively bigging yourself up. But yeah, I mean, you know, really, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, I've just remembered another bad, painful, humiliating thing, which other people might want to do. So, Live More Awesome is a fabulous charity run by Jimmy Hunt, which is an anti-depression charity, and they run the world's biggest water slide.
One you did.
Yeah, I did that last year, and again. Humiliating and painful eventually. I took myself out there, wanted to do it. This thing is huge. It is the world's biggest. It's down a very long slide. I got there. It took a long time to get there. I got to the top. I'm scared of heights. What was I doing? It was really, really fast. And I sat at the top and I cried in front of people. It took me 2.5 hours to get onto the blooming thing. There were people going to the bottom of the hill, coming back up and saying, "That was awesome. What are you still doing up here?" But eventually I got myself down there. So that's one of the things that I was proud of. And then I had to do it again because, rather like a marathon, I didn't want to be one of these people that was like, yes, I did it, but I would never do it again. You need to get on the horse.
See, you're so freaking awesome. Hey, what we're going to do is we're going to, Stephanie Johnston, I don't know if you've met Steph. She's got a cool biz. Yeah, she's going to jump on one of the seats and she's going to, you're going to do your word wizard magic. I have said to her that you're not going to pull out brand statements and old elevator pictures, but we'll see what she's got for you and we'll see. So, Steph, I'm just opening up the seat. So, Steph, if you just click, there we go. She knows. She's like, I already know that. And we'll see if she comes in. While we're waiting for her, I'm going to follow her. Are you coming in? Are you there, Steph? Oh, she's popped back out. Oh, what happened? I'll open it up again.
Don't be shy.
Stephanie went on. Oh, here we go. We try it again. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, yay! We can't hear you, Steph. No, can't hear you. Yeah, the problem sometimes with Blab, if you don't come in on the right platform, like a Firefox or Chrome, it can stop you with the sound. It happens to me once. What a shame! What a shame, Elaine.
Can you type in and still have nice?
Yeah. Actually, type what you want in. Yeah.
Of your lovely face.
If there's anyone else though who wants to jump in and get some word wizardness, then let me know as well. While Steph is typing. What else did you do on your 42? You must have done. So we've got water slide marathon.
Oh, yes. I did trapeze. That was pretty awful again because of the heights thing, and also because I had trousers on which were a little bit loose, and so I was hanging upside down, and there are people who can see my knickers. That was pretty bad. I had my nose pierced for the first time. Not this. And then tried Bikram yoga, sweated so much that it fell out and I had to have it re-pierced. That was bad. The worst. The worst was the nudist camp.
Right. Oh.
Yes, because I can cope with physical pains fine.
You're so freaking amazing. I love it.
People are seeing yourself. If you don't even like communal changing rooms, then yeah, people seeing your whole body is quite a challenge.
Okay, so Steph's come in. So, I've been trying to sort my tagline on the mastermind page that was in Go To Girl, looking at creating change through conscious choices.
Okay. Now I read this.
That's why I knew Steph was going to come in.
And you're a merchandiser, aren't you, Steph? Is that right? Is this through stuff that people have made in other places?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. So is your work, is it like fair trade type stuff? Yes, I thought so. Yeah, brilliant. Yes, I looked at this, and I think it's too broad, because because creating change through conscious choices could relate to so many things. I was thinking about something about purchasing choices, and I think also you have to look at the connection between the customer, the purchaser's decision, and the producer's motivation. So yeah, I see what you mean about the celebrating creativity. I would be really tempted to put something in about global connectivity, something like that, because what your purchasers are doing is buying things for themselves which work within their own lives and changing lives globally in doing so. That's it. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely come up with something easily for that. But I think it's going to take me 10 minutes.
Yeah, but I think just can you just go back to what you said about it's going to base it on the purchaser's decision and the supplier's what?
Yeah. And the supplier's motivation. So the people in Bangladesh who are making these things are doing it because they are having it's a conscious choice for them, that they're going to buy into this and supply, presumably as part of this initiative, and they're therefore changing their lives. The purchasers are helping to support that change, and whilst also getting something that works for them. So I think there has to be a little bit more of a what's in it for me for the purchaser, unless their absolute motivation is to just buy something for the feel good factor. And I've seen your stuff, I think, at the networking night, and it's beautiful, it's useful, and it's enhances the purchaser's life as well. So yeah, so I would just look at the motivation. I like that.
There. Thank you for that, because I appreciate that you can't actually do a brain statement kind of thing on the call today, but hopefully, Steph, does that give you a little bit of
there's a difference.
The tagline and the brain statement, but does that give you a help?
Yeah, there's a difference between the tagline and the statement.
If there's anyone else though who wants to jump on and have a bit of a word wizard riff, then please, I'll leave the seat open. And good old Liz, she's throwing out some cool questions. She's got, apart from being a word wizard, what is your superpower?
My superpower. Well, I only disclose that when I'm wearing my knickers on the outside, Liz. You know that.
Go put your knickers on, quick.
Okay. I think probably a sense of humour. You know, whether people get that or not. I think not being afraid to fail. I'm not. You know, there are things that I try, and I think, well, I'm not going. This is hopeless. And so it's not that's kept me stuck in this whole process, because I'm resilient. So therefore, if something's not working, I can very quickly say, right, okay, plan B, plan C, plan D. But it's more a case of impatience. That would be my fatal flaw, I suppose.
Karen, if you had to give three tips for women who were like you last year, knowing they know it's time to go, they want to start the journey out, what would you, in part of a guidebook, what would you tell them? What would you share with them?
I would say be prepared for low times. because it's, however exciting it is, it's not going to happen immediately, and you are going to be concerned, and you are going to, it's a, you know, it's a roller coaster, and it's tricky, and you will have downtimes.
Okay, but what can they do in those downtimes, babe? Like, now you know what the downtime's like. What's the best thing you did in the downtimes to kind of get you out of them faster? Because you can't not have downtimes. Hey, isn't that right? Okay.
No, you can't. No. Correct. I think you have to ask for help. You have to look for support, and you have to be really clear. You know, if you know that that's going to be the case, and you can see it for what it is, you know that there's going to be a path out. So that's, you know, that works for people. I think the fact that you're not going to get it right straight away, unless, you know, even if you're replicating somebody else's business, which is not a route that I would recommend, you know, but even if it's an industry that you know inside out, and you just think, okay, I can just do this, you can't. You need it to be individual. You need it to be you, and you need to keep that focus on what makes you tick, what you're passionate about, because if it doesn't set you on fire, then it's not going to work.
Okay, and one last one, and then we're going to go actually tap back into what we spoke about at the beginning about just because you're good at something and lots of stuff doesn't mean you should go and do it. So just the third tip. So you've got prepare yourself for low times, that you're not going to get it right the first time. And what's your third?
Yep. And chill, I think. And that's probably the one that I'm worst at. So it's you need to actually just sit back, think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and chill. I mean, for some people that might be, that might come about through making lists of what they have achieved and feeling good about that, and having that sort of validation from themselves. But really, I think it's, for me as a sort of, type A person, it's about kicking back and actually going.
What's a type A person? What's a type A person?
Oh, the sort of person that you're always talking to and saying take imperfect action and not being perfect, not looking for perfection. So just wanted to over deliver, overachieve, and make everything perfect.
Go you. I'm so glad that you get that about, taking the imperfect action. So let's go back and talk about, you've got some background noise now. Is there children?
There are children.
Oh,
it's a kindy. Just
drop the volume a little bit, because I'm getting back feed back through. Hopefully it's not echoing out to everyone else. But I really love when you and I spoke prior to the blab about how, some people can be like, well, I love doing that, so I'm going to leave my job and I'm going to go turn it into a business. I'd love for you to talk into, because you've got some very, got a strong point of view around that, and I'd love for us to be able to, hear about it.
Well, this is my view about soul-centered business. It's great. It's what sets you alive. A lot of people have gone into business because they've experienced something themselves. So you find people who have solved a problem for themselves, and it could be a nutrition problem, or it could be an issue within their life, and they become very passionate about it, and want to help other people, which is great. But there's a difference between an interest and a viable commercial proposition. And this is my commercial background coming out. I have worked with thousands of businesses. When I was in radio, I would go out and talk to them about the problems, about their pain points, about their customers' pain points, about what their objectives were, why they were in business. And it's really a case of honing that down and making sure that why you're in it. because if you're not in it to make money, then that's great. Then there are lots and lots of people that you can help who don't want to pay you. That's it. That's easy. If you're in it to make friends, that's great as well. You can do something on a community basis. But if you're in it because you want to make an impact, and you want to help people and you want to solve their problems, then you have to be very clear about about what you're offering, and about how exactly it's going to help people. And that comes about through good communications, so that's why my work really involves making sure that the brand is really clear, knowing who your customers are and what their problems are, and coming up with ideas which are going to convey that and solve those problems. And often that can just be through a series of questions, or it can be through just chatting.
I really love that, because there's definitely an increase in women leaving their jobs to go and run their passion-based business, and I think it's really awesome that you see that as a problem, specifically because they've left their job to make money, and if it's not viable, then they're going to hit an issue. And I love the fact that actually drives you for your business, because it's such a niche, right? A need as well. So that's really cool. I noticed this, as I say, in my journey, in my movement towards becoming self-employed and creating this business, I was going to lots of events and lots of workshops, and meeting people, and you would talk to them, and you could see see passion in people's eyes. Why they're doing it, but they can't articulate what they do and what they offer. And that's why I think having some sort of branding statement is so powerful, because it brings together everything that you're doing, everything that you want to do, communicates that easily to people, and which is where the communication comes in, right?
So it's not about completely, but I've had clients who have said, well, I've struggled for 10 years to actually work out what I offer and what I do, and it's Nat will tell you about the importance of actually having that really clear when you're networking, because you don't want to see people's eyes glaze over if there's somebody that can actually benefit from what you're offering.
I wonder then, for you, if you want to share some tips perhaps around how you can look at it, because I know there's a lot of women on the call who are going to come back and listen to this replay because they're passion-led businesses. To check the viability, what are some easy ways to do a quick is this going to make me money? Do you have any tips there?
I think be really clear about who your customers are, and they might not be the people that you think they are. So if you actually think about your business and think about the services that you're offering, and work out who those customers can be, then you can actually get an idea of how to approach them, and how to and what's going to resonate with them, and how you can market to them, because that should be something that actually speaks to your ideal customers, but also incorporates elements of your personality. So for example, when I've worked with you, you're straight up, you're honest, you're direct, and you've got a good sense of humor. So that's what you want to communicate and articulate in your offerings. Not that you're going to be sitting down and saying, well, I can actually do X, Y, and Z for you, but to give people an idea of the manner in which you're going to do that X, Y, and Z. So I mean, your marketing updates.
Oh yes, so Karen came up with the idea of my TV episode, This Little Piggy Goes Marketing, because you can't stay at home to get your ideal client. So I do every Friday I put out a marketing show, right? and you help me with the name. And you know, I'm cheeky enough to get away with that. Like, who calls their TV show This Little Piggy Goes Marketing? You know, like, but like you said, I can get away with doing a little bit of the quirky, because I don't know if you've noticed around. That's kind of how I roll, right? I'm a little bit like that. So yeah. So if guys, if you know that you need some help with your communication and your brand and your voice, she's helped me a lot. And she's definitely someone who I'm going to be using this year to, you know, make sure that I'm actually, you know, it's about making the most of who you are and making sure that that's articulated properly. Because I sure as hell wouldn't have come up with This Little Piggy Goes Marketing or Shapeshifters, or, you know, I wouldn't have come up with those ideas because I just didn't know how to articulate that out, or thought that perhaps that it sounded okay. I've loved having you on. You're such an interesting person, and we could just carry on blabbing for hours. I reckon.
I think I've just left people with the image of me hanging upside down on a trapeze showing my knickers, or possibly even more horrifically at the nudist camp.
I love that.
So I'm sorry about
that. Guys, if you're on the call and you have any questions, please pop them in now. Otherwise, we're going to be... thanks, Made Marketing. Thank you. Karen and I are actually looking at, in the winter time when you're all wanting to hibernate, we're going to be looking at there's probably about 4 or 6 women. We're going to look at helping you come up with perhaps your brand or statement, and I'm going to help you with some mindset shifts and strategy around it. So we're excited about a winter event, and we know it's going to be awesome because Karen's running it and I'm turning up. But also, just to let you know that Lisa Black and I, we're hosting our Catapult Your Year with Passion and Purpose on Saturday the 20th. It's a workshop that her and I are hosting up here in Orewa. And I don't know if you guys know Lisa, but she is just, there's not enough words to describe her because she's just freaking fantastic. And her and I are opposites. That doesn't mean that I'm not fantastic, but I mean, you know, we're yin and yang, right? She's gonna give it to you in beautiful unicorns and creativity, and she'll literally make your souls want to sing, and you'll ooze some love, and you'll want to bring a new voice into your business. And I'm going to help you see what that looks like and shift in the other blocks. And I'm just together we deliver the same thing, but from left and right brains, and it just works really well. So I'd love for you guys to come and check it out. You can jump on my page. But Karen, I'd love for you to let us know your Facebook page and let us know how we can work with you, because I'm pretty sure that I'm going to come and get some brand statement from you. Because yeah, I actually totally didn't realize that I didn't bring any of my mannerisms into my brand statement. So I want to be calling you to make an appointment.
It's all about personality, and people buy you, they buy into you.
Yeah.
Particularly in coaching, it's so important. You know, it's either going to be a fit or it's not. And you know, I've been to a lot of events, and you know, you can get similar information, but it's only going to resonate with you if you work with that. You know, if your personalities work together.
I just put Ginger Thinking up on the page.
Thank you. Yes, it's the reason it's Ginger Thinking because I'm thinking up ways to improve people's businesses that are going to work, and people usually remember the ginger bit, so had to be the case. Yeah, I would love to speak to people and to just to do an exploratory chat, to help them with the brand statement, and just see
how long's a brand statement session though? How long is one?
I can. Usually we look at 90 minutes, because it can take that long for people to actually think about their business, think about who they're targeting and what their problems are, and the things that they fix. But you know, I can, if I know the business, I can do this really easily and quickly, and that's what I think heart-centered or individual businesses are all about. doing something that
Yes.
you
High
find
five
easy
for
that
that.
other people don't find easy. Knowing
Because you're so right.
Yeah,
That's
there you
it.
knowing that you that's how we help one another, and goes back to, you know, looking at, you know, the title of this session and what we were originally going to talk about, other than my knickers, but which is, you know, just because you can do something doesn't mean it should be what you're doing. You know, you can do it, but you might find it hard and you might not get the results that you want. But if you bring other people in, whose talents lie in those areas, you know, it's going to work for you. So self-massage is never going to be as effective as getting somebody else to do it.
Steph has just asked, actually, and I was going to ask that too, Steph, so great, thank you, is how much are your brand sessions?
I have a special at the moment for February, because I want people to actually get some focus within February, and so I'm doing a special on that for $175.
Gosh, that's so cheap.
But for the first 10 people who sign up for this, will get their statement put together in a beautiful fashion and framed.
Can you like seriously book? I'm booking in. Book me in.
Okie doke.
I'm one of the 10.
Yeah, okie doke. Because as you've got the stuff that you've got behind you on your beautiful wall, is what I think inspires people. And so if you've got your mission and your branding statement there in 25 words,
I'd love that.
It's beautifully done up and it's framed, and you can look at it easily, and it reminds you of what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Steps in too.
Fabulous. So it just means that you've got that focus, and that's why I'm calling it February Focus, because until you've got that clear, how are you going to move on with any other effective marketing?
And Liz has asked you to send her the details to share. So have you got Liz's email?
I'll do that for you, Liz. No worries.
Hey, this is all about inspiring hire, right? This is kind of how it rolls, kind of how we've riffed today is about showcasing you, babe, and showcasing, you know, how we help other people and being able to help the other women. And I so appreciate you jumping on, because I know, even though you've been on TV and you know, radio and rolled around with celebs, I do know that it was a big thing for you, not literally rolled around. I know what a big deal it was for you to get on the camera today and be here in front of us all. So I'm so proud of you, and I thank you for coming on. But what I could see when you were talking to us is you lit up, and your eyes changed and your tone changed, and I'm just really excited for you, babe, because you've got a whole new energy around you this year, and you're gonna rock it.
Absolutely, we're all going to rock it, but we need help to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm focusing on. I think, you know, you use people's talents, you collaborate where you can, we work together, and collectively, you know, we're all going to rock it this year. I'm
just copying and pasting Steph's email because she wants you to send her the details, and I'll Facebook it to you. Okay. Fabulous, and so nice to connect with you, and I hope everybody else has enjoyed the call too. Right, Renee Greenland's just jumped on. Oh, poor Renee, we're not just leaving because you just turned up, though it may seem like that. We have actually finished our blab. Exactly, Run for Life, Alison King. How damn inspiring is Karen? Like, and the same for you, Alison, Run for Life. I mean, how many people do? What have you done? Like 5 Iron Men or something? Like, you just, it bamboozles my head. Your physical abilities. Alice, anybody. 4 Iron Men, 10 marathons. Oh, and she acts like it's normal. Like, oh, don't you do that? I'm like, hello, no. I've only done the 7 marathons, but I started it late. I was 42. She's not even 42 yet. She's a babe. By then she'll have probably done 42. Probably. It's probably on her mission. Hey, guys, next Tuesday, Inspire Hire. It's all the 3 of us. It's the Inspire Hire panel. Nat Cutler-Welsh, Lisa Black, and myself. So please come along and enjoy the ride. And thanks for tuning in today. Really appreciate it. I'll make sure I get the replay link up so you can watch it. And go well and have a fantastic day. Bye.
Bye.
See everyone. Bye.